Hi everyone, my name is Priyanka and welcome to my vlog. Today I'm going to talk about procrastination and how you can overcome procrastination. Procrastination as such is a habit that you have been uh, doing for a long time, and with a change of mindset, with a clarity of thought process, you can bring about a change in your life and you can drop this habit. We procrastinate because it is a way of removing stress from our life. We tell ourselves that we can do this chore, or we can do this task when we are ready for it, and we're never ready for some tasks in our life. Some of the tasks that we end up neglecting are cleaning up kitchen pantry, or folding our clothes and putting them in the cupboards, or finishing up a book. We do is we sit on our couches and we surf the internet, we look at the movies, and we spend our time shopping, going to the mall. But what we don't do is we don't complete our tasks on time. So those pending tasks keep on multiplying. And what happens at the end of the day, instead of this habit which was supposed to give us stress relief, ends up giving us a lot of stress. You get stressed because you have been lazy, and you tell yourself, I'm lazy, I don't have the courage to take on new tasks, I don't have the courage to finish all tasks, I am somebody who's not disciplined. Yes, you're not disciplined because you don't understand that you have been harboring on to this really bad habit of yours. Going to understand is that we can drop this habit of procrastination, and once we drop this habit of procrastination, we are going to find that our life is more synchronized and we are able to complete our task on time and have the time out to relax and chill. So where is it that we see the effect of procrastination in our life? We see it in these three major areas of our life. The first one being our health, the second one being our finances, and the third one being our relationships. Now, the first thing that really affects us when we procrastinate is our health. We don't take up the time to exercise. We know we need to exercise. We know we have been gaining weight, but we don't pay attention to taking up time to exercise. Then we don't pay attention to the food that we're eating. And because we tell ourselves, we deserve this lazy time, we deserve this time out, what we do is we end up eating a lot of junk food, and that junk food in turn deteriorates our health. So this is a vicious cycle that we need to get out of. The second aspect of a life that gets affected by procrastination, the finances. Now your finances get affected because you are not paying attention to the online shopping that you're doing. It's a major addiction problem for a lot of people, that they don't pay attention to the amount of shopping that they're doing online. And this is what we tell ourselves, that I deserve to shop online, I deserve to have a me time, I deserve to get those brand new clothes, I deserve to get those brand new shoes. Now if we were to have not had this habit of procrastination, we would have cleaned our cupboards, we would have seen that there were a pile of clothes lying there with their tags on, and we would have seen that the shoe rack is filled up with shoes and we don't need any new pair of shoes. And this way, we could have understood that we are doing a lot of unnecessary shopping. We are adding on to a lot of unnecessary expenses, but we don't do that because we procrastinate in one area of our life, and now it's affecting every other area of our life. If we had cleaned our cupboards, if we had looked at our shoe rack, if we had cleaned our shoe rack, we would have seen that we don't need so many items that we are buying online. And this is where people fail miserably in life. They become addicts to online shopping. They shop a lot, they clutter their houses with unnecessary items that they never put into use, and it affects their finances too. Now let's come on to the third aspect. The third aspect is your relationships. Now we don't pay much attention to our spouse. They have come back from the office, or they've been sitting at home taking care of the kids, have had a moment of communication with them. We could have sat down with them, we could have had a one-on-one with them, but we are not doing that. What we're doing is we're just coming back home and hooking on that video game of ours, and we are just playing video games for hours, or we are just surfing the TV channels. We are not paying attention to our partners, and that is how procrastination as a habit is affecting our relationships, where we could have made an effort to communicate well with a partner, we could have made an effort to have small little conversations about how a day went about. We could have done that, but we didn't do it, and it is affecting your relationship with your children as well, because your children need your time, but you don't want to give them time. You tell yourself that you're too stressed at the job that you're in. Don't pay attention to the people that you're living with in this beautiful house of yours, because you are just too lazy to have a conversation with them, because conversation requires a lot of attention, and it's easier to look at your phone and scroll through all the reels on the social media. It's far easier because you don't have to spend any energy, you don't have to pay attention to anyone, because you've paid too much attention to a lot of other stimulus that is happening in your environment throughout the day. And that is how procrastination is affecting these three main areas of your life. The main reason why we procrastinate is because we have a lot of thoughts going on in our mind. We are always overthinking, and because we are always overthinking, we are unable to make clear and rational decisions in our life. So let's say you needed to take out time to study just before the exam. What do? Instead of studying, you go out with your friends, you surf the internet because you're too anxious. And that 1 hour in which you could have studied, in the daytime, is gone. And now you have to spend the night studying on the subject that is very, very difficult for you. And it is a major habit of procrastinators, that they keep on delaying because they keep on overthinking. So your thoughts are the reason why you procrastinate. You have to understand that it is just your thinking process. You are unable to compute the thoughts that are coming into your mind. Once you are able to compute the thoughts that are coming into your mind correctly, you will stop procrastinating, and it affects everyone. Let's say you have a deadline to meet and you are unable to meet that deadline, because what happens is that you have been overthinking, and because you've been overthinking, you have been talking about your anxiety, about your worries to people, rather than sitting and spending the same amount of time and energy working on that project of yours. And this is a very, very common situation with housewives, with people who go to office, with students. How do we change our thinking process? Because that unless we change our thinking process, we are going to repeat the old pattern of thinking, and this old pattern of thinking has not really worked for us till now. We can see that we are always delaying major things in our life. Even decisions about marriage, about children, get delayed by people because they are unable to think clearly, they are unable to have a competent thought process. And this is where you need to work upon creating a better thought process in your mind. The very first thing that you need to understand about your habits is that any bad habit of yours is getting triggered, and small little things can trigger you. Let's say somebody comes up to you and says to you, you need to do this work, you need to complete this task. What happens is you react and you tell them, yeah, I'm going to do it, it's not a big deal, and you never end up doing that task, because as a child you were given too many tasks that you could not complete, and you never paid attention as an adult that this is a bad habit of mine, that when someone gives me a task that needs to be done, I know it needs to be done, and never end up doing it. And I don't do it because I feel like I own my life. Yes, you own your life, you are the owner of this life of yours, but as an owner you should understand that there are certain tasks that you need to finish in a day, in a week, in a month, in a specific given period of time, so that you are able to get some benefit out of it. Now, most of the tasks that we finish are pretty late, and then we never end up getting any benefits out of them. So this is where we need to understand that we are getting triggered very, very easily. Say that you carry a pattern of thought process. Now, let's say you were supposed to go on a diet, and you did go on a diet for exactly 3 days. On the fourth day, you end up having that tub of ice cream because you got triggered at office, because your boss shouted at you, or your kids are shouting at home, and you're unable to control your home environment, and you're very, very stressed. So what happens to you is, because you got triggered, you go back to your old pattern of thinking, and that old pattern of thinking is telling you it's good, just have a packet of chips, it's all okay, just have that bowl of ice cream, and you end up doing that. So this is where we need to understand that most of our habits show us a pattern of thinking. Now, coming on to reward, what most people do is they reward themselves of these bad habits of theirs. So, when you're having that bowl of ice cream, or when you're skipping studying and walking around with your friends, whiling away your time, what you do is you tell yourself, I deserve this reward because I was too anxious. Don't you tell yourself that? And that reward never benefits you. It is not for your benefit. In fact, once you have partaken in these old pattern of thinking and you have taken that action, what happens is that you feel guilty. You feel guilty that you had that tub of ice cream. You feel guilty that you didn't study at the required time, and now you're overwhelmed. Nation does is it makes you feel very, very overwhelmed. You feel tired, you feel a mental fog coming in, and in fact you get a lot of anxiety and stress because you rewarded yourself of the bad habits that you've picked up. The bad habit of eating junk food, the bad habit of not doing your tasks on time, bad habit of yours, of the reason why you are finding your life to be very, very difficult. And we can change these bad habits by simply taking on a new method of thinking. Now, the question is, how do we change our thinking process? We can change our thinking process by placing ourselves right in the middle. So, this is the now, this is a present moment, and then there is a future self of ours, and we are standing right in the middle. We are not even in the now. So, we ask ourselves this very basic question: would my future self be happy with the kind of decision making I'm doing right now? Went on a diet not just to reduce your weight, but to save yourself from a lot of diseases. Now, just ask yourself the simple question: if I have this tub of ice cream, will it benefit me in the future? Will my future self be happy with the decision that I'm taking right now? Do I need to eat this tub of ice cream to feel that emotional cleanse because I had a very bad day? And if I'm relying on this tub of ice cream for an emotional cleanse, will I feel fulfilled in the future? Just 1 hour from now. That future can be 1 hour from now, or one day from now, and the answer will come right at you at that very minute. You will know that this is not the right decision. I do not need to eat a tub of ice cream to emotionally cleanse myself, to make myself feel happy, because there are other ways, and the other ways are that I can go out for a walk. This way I feel refreshed. This way I will be able to work upon my emotions. The main reason why we get stressed in life is because we are unable to understand the emotional state that we are in. If we are able to understand the emotional state that we are in, we will be able to take control of the triggers. And once we are able to control the triggers, we are able to control the old pattern of thinking, and we will never reward ourselves with bad habits. Another method is that we imagine every task of ours as an brick. So you were supposed to go on a diet, you were supposed to sleep on time, and you were supposed to exercise. Now, if you miss any one of these bricks, what happens is that they multiply. If you know what compounding interest is, you know that every time you delay a task, you start compounding that task of yours. We delay our tasks in life because we need to procrastinate. What happens is we create a compounding effect of these silly mistakes, and the compounding effect turns out to be a very large mistake done by us. So let's say we let go of the diet. Now we let go of the diet. Slowly we let go of the exercise. Then slowly we let go of our sleep cycle. And what is happening is that it's showcasing as a major disease in our body. And this is what you need to understand, that every silly mistake of ours is leading on to a big mistake. So it is time for us to correct small little mistakes of ours to stop this compounding effect of big mistakes in our life. If you understand this aspect of your life where you are doing one little mistake and it's causing a big mistake in your life, you will now pay attention to the small little areas of your life. You will start paying attention to small little habits of yours that are leading to really big dangerous things in your life. And once you do that, you will find that you are no longer procrastinating, because you understand that every time I delay a task, every time I do not pay attention to my eating habits, I don't pay attention to my sleep cycle or my exercise regimen, what happens is that it's going to affect my overall health. Your pattern of thinking is that you are escaping your life. You don't accept where you are in life. You don't accept the consequences of the delays that are being done by you, and that is happening because you lack motivation in life. And what happens is you never get motivated enough. There is all hype that you need to get motivated enough to do that task. No, that motivation is never going to come because you are not inspired enough, and because you're not inspired enough, you never end up taking action. And that is what you need to understand about yourself, that I don't need motivation. What I need is straight away action, and I can take that action by creating a detailed list of the things that I need to do in a day and then tick marking them. Because if I am waiting for that motivation to happen by getting inspired by somebody other than me, because that inspiration has to come from outside of you, you don't get inspired on your own. It's very, very difficult. What happens is you are now waiting for some external environment of yours to change so that you can take up the necessary action. Best way to stop procrastinating and to start taking action is to give ourselves cues. How do we give ourselves visual cues? For example, if we were supposed to go in early in the morning for a run, what we can do is we can place our sneakers right next to our bed, because they're going to remind us that we need to wake up very, very early and go for a run. If we were supposed to clean that cupboard of ours, we can put in a sticky note inside our cupboard that tells us that it's time for you to clean, and you can designate a time and a day. Same way, you can give yourself visual cues about the time at which you want to read a book. There's another way in which you can create new habits, and you can do that by piggybacking on the old ones. So let's say you're already waking up very, very early in the morning to make lunch boxes for yourself or for your husband and your children. What you can do is you can wake up half an hour before your designated time and give yourself that half an hour to do your morning exercises. And this way, you are now creating a new habit out of the old one, because it's easier to wake up half an hour before than never been able to wake up in the morning. Let's say you have been waking up at 11 every day, you will not be able to wake up at 5 in the morning. But if you are waking up at 6 every day, it's far easier to wake up at 5:30 or 5:15. And that is the reason why you need to start piggybacking on your old habit. You will find that it's far easier to piggyback on these old habit of yours, because they allow you to make small little changes, because it's very, very difficult to make very big changes in our life suddenly. But if we can make small little changes here and there, then we are not going to notice it much. This is how you can stop procrastinating in your life. I hope you loved my vlog. If you love my vlog, do like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below. And thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.